It's actually super easy to get timeless film-like results from any digital camera, and I'm gonna show you how. A couple of weeks ago, I put out a video about a new camera I got, the Nikon ZF. That video did really well, thank you, and I got several comments asking how I edited my photos from this camera to get this specific look that I'm getting. And this is really cool to hear because I actually regularly use cameras from not one, not two, but 3 different camera systems, and that's Sony, Fujifilm, and Nikon. I've had several photographers I know in real life ask me if I'm worried about getting consistent colors between all 3 of those systems if I'm using more than one on a particular shoot. So I thought I'd pop on here right quick and give y'all a little insight into my editing process and how I get really pleasing colors from all of my digital cameras for a consistent look across all of my work. What's up? My name is Walter. I'm a wedding photographer and commercial film. I don't know why I can't say commercial filmmaker in a normal way. I'm a wedding photographer and commercial filmmaker based in the southeastern United States. I'm eating celery, little healthy snack. Little afternoon pick-me-up. So yes, I own many cameras. I currently own the Nikon ZF, the Fujifilm X-T5, and for my commercial work and all my video work, I use the Sony a7 IV and Sony a7S III. There have been some gigs that I've shot where I'm using all 3 of those cameras at the same time, and I still manage to make them work together harmoniously. I love each of these cameras for what they can do individually, and they each have their specific strengths and weaknesses for whatever it is I'm shooting, but that is a topic for another video. Okay, that's enough setup here. What I'd like to do is take a few choice photos that I've taken across these 3 different camera systems, bring them into Lightroom, and show you what I do to get some consistency here. So let's jump into Lightroom. But first, I'm going to show you how I edit my photos in Lightroom with presets that I've made. And this is a perfect time to announce my very first preset pack. Yay! Walter's participating in capitalism. Give me your money, please. I'm so excited to bring you Bujifilm, the first and only official preset pack from Walter Lyle. Inside the Bujifilm preset pack, you will find Bujifilm Acros, Bujifilm Chrome, Bujifilm Astia, Bujifilm Superia and Superia Light, and Bujifilm Simple. That's 6 full presets ready for you to begin transforming your photos from an uninspiring and flat-looking mess into something with life and character. Bujifilm is purely my own spin on some of my favorite Fuji film simulations and the actual film stocks that those simulations were modeled after. So in short, these presets that I've spent a lot of time building and tweaking are not me trying to tell you that I'm going to help you get exact Fujifilm or like film-like colors on your non-Fuji camera. These presets were designed entirely by me with the intention of getting you that classic and film-ish look while still retaining their own identity, which is kind of what my editing style is already and has been for a while. I've been telling people for a long time that my style is film-inspired, but with some modern touches. So if you want exact Fuji colors in a preset pack, this ain't it. And honestly, you'd probably be better off just going and getting a Fujifilm camera if that's what you want. So don't trust anyone telling you that they've perfectly emulated Fuji colors on other cameras because they're lying. You can get really close, but nothing compares to true Fujifilm colors from an actual Fujifilm camera. Okay, so enough of that. No fake turnarounds this time. We are actually going to get into Lightroom and take a look at some of my Bujifilm presets and what they can do for your photos. Okay, so we are in Lightroom. We're going to take a look at some photos that I've taken from Sony a7 IV, the Nikon ZF, and one from the Fujifilm X-T5. I picked several different photos of varying lighting situations and colors and subjects, and so hopefully this will give you a really good idea of how versatile the Bujifilm presets are and how they can transform your photos. So let's do it. The first one we're looking at here is this live music photo from a couple weeks ago that I shot on the Nikon ZF. I think this is a really good example of a photo that looks great with the Bujifilm Acros preset. Acros, which is modeled, of course, after the Fujifilm Acros, a very classic black and white type of look. Bujifilm Acros is a little more contrastier, a little bit stronger on the shadow, but more or less very similar to Fujifilm Acros, and is just a really good versatile look for anytime you want to throw anything into black and white. The next photo here, also shot on the Nikon ZF. This is a good example of something with very high dynamic range. So we have very strong very strong highlights over here on the stage, but then we have very strong shadows on this side. So I thought this would be a good example of a photo that would look great with Bujifilm Acros, maybe with the exposure lifted up just a little bit. Of course, because this is a preset, it is not intended for you to be a plug and play and then export it as soon as you throw it on there. Please tweak your photos after you put on a Bujifilm preset. Change your exposure, change your white balance if you need to. Tweak it to your heart's content. It's your preset. You paid for it, man. I think this photo would also look really good with Bujifilm Superia, which is modeled after the actual film stock Fujifilm Superia, which RIP to one of the greats. Superia, you can no longer buy the film stock, but you can buy the Bujifilm preset pack, which comes with Superia to make your photos look more like film. So as we can see here, I put on Superia and I brought up the exposure just by actually a whole stop because I underexposed this photo a little bit. And you can see, you know, we're not getting any of this information back in the highlights anyway, we knew that. But if we look at our subject here and then the photo as a whole, Superia really leans into that very contrasty, high dynamic range look. So if you have a photo like this with very strong highlights and strong shadows, and you want to lean into that dramatic or sometimes moodier look, Superia is a really, really good option for that. The next photo we're going to look at is from a wedding I shot last year. I thought this is a great example of what the greens are going to do when you throw on Superia or Superia Light, which I'll show you in just a second. So let's put on Bujifilm Superia, and you can see that our greens got a little more smoothed out. They're a little darker, but very rich, and that is kind of a hallmark feature of the traditional Superia film stock. Of course, this is the kind of our take on it, my digital take on Superia. So we still have modern sharpness stuff, a little bit of that, you know, digital look, but we're getting closer to that film stock look with the richer greens. And so this kind of transforms the photo into a little more of a moodier look, which for this particular shot, I really like. This is the before and this is the after. If that is a little too dramatic for you, which in this shot I don't think it is, but if it is, you can put on Superia Light, which brings up those shadows just a little bit and kind of flattens out the image. For my money, the Bujifilm Superia is a really good look for this. You can bring down the exposure if you want to, really make those highlights stand out a little more for even moodier shot, but I think the exposure as it was out of camera looked really good. Let's go into our next one. This is a portrait of another wedding I did last year of our beautiful bride Krissa. I thought this would be a really good time to show off Bujifilm Chrome, which is a very versatile preset in the Bujifilm preset pack. It is, you're retaining all the really good colors you're getting right out of your camera, but it's a little more muted, which I think is a good look. Now, I underexposed this one just a little bit, so you can bring exposure up. It's very strongly backlit, which I think is a good look for Bujifilm Chrome. I think Superia could also look really good on this photo, but Superia Light, I think for my style, would work even better. It's a little less contrasty, and we'll bring that exposure back up just a little bit. I think that looks really good. This was shot on the Sony a7 IV. This one was shot on the Nikon ZF, forgot to mention that. Now, this one I thought would be a really good example, a really good time to show off what our different presets can do for different skin tones and some, you know, retaining good, strong colors in your image. So you can see our guy on the left here has a darker skin tone. Our woman on the right has a lighter skin tone, like me, fellow vampires, check in. And we want to keep their skin tones looking good and accurate in this photo, but we want to make the whole photo pop a little bit more. I think this would be a really good time to bust out Bujifilm Astia, which is a very vibrant and kind of punchy look color-wise, but our tones are still very smooth and soft, and so I really like that for this type of photo. I might bring the exposure up just a little bit, because I don't want this photo to be moody. Astia is used really well when you are wanting a very bright look. Err on the side of maybe even overexposing just a little bit. Don't clip your highlights if you can avoid it, but I think a brighter look with Astia looks really good. And I might bring it a little green in the white balance. This photo was shot on the Nikon ZF. On to the next one. This is a shot that is very dramatic that I thought might look pretty good with either Acros, again, very dramatic look, or Superior, or Superior Light. I think any of those look really good. And actually this photo, honestly, all the Bujifilm presets look good. So I think Astia looks good if it was, the exposure's brought up a little bit. Again, we like that brighter look with the punchier colors of Astia. I think Chrome would look really good too. Bring the exposure up a little bit. But if I had to pick for this photo, it would be either Superior Light for, again, this is the more dramatic edit. Make our greens are changed a good bit. We have some more blue in the shadows. But if that's a look you like, you can do that. But it's hard to beat a good Acros, a good black and white. I think I might leave it there. Now, our next one is a good example of a more commercial type of shot. This is a corporate headshot I did a couple years ago for a client who works on airplanes. You can tell by the airplane in the background. And I think this would be a really good time to use Astia. We'll bring the exposure up a little bit because those tones smooth out enough to actually darken the image just a little bit. So err on the side of bringing exposure up just a little bit when you're editing with Astia. I think that's a really good look. It's also a good time to show off the kind of bonus preset that I've thrown into the Bujifilm preset pack, which is Bujifilm Simple. This is not modeled after any Fujifilm simulation or film stocks or anything. It's just a very simple base edit on any of your photos. It would be great for anything corporate or commercial like this, or for any kind of photographer who just loves a very true to color edit. They will really like the colors they're getting out of their camera in the first place, and they need something just to kind of elevate that photo just a little bit more. Or if you like a really good starting point and you really want to go crazy from there and make it your own, Bujifilm Simple is a great option for that. Moving on to this behind the scenes shot I got shooting a gig for our local PBS. I think this would be a good time to show off Bujifilm Simple again, because as a corporate client, we want to keep it very simple looking. I think Astia would also work really well in this. I think Chrome would be okay, but it might be a little too muted for something like this, so I would steer away from that. I think Superior would also not be a super good fit for this photo. It's a little too strong, a little too dramatic. Even Superior Light, I don't think I would love for this. So for me, I'm doing either Astia with the exposure raised just a little bit, or I'm doing Bujifilm, sorry, not Superior, Bujifilm Simple with the exposure up just a little bit, and I might, bring some more vibrance into this, and I might mess the white balance a little bit later, but for a quick edit, I think this looks good. And this is shot on the Sony a7 IV. The previous one was also shot on the Sony a7 IV. Didn't know if I said it, but this one was shot on the Nikon ZF. Real bad about remembering to say that. But again, just showing you that you can use these presets on any camera. This last one here was shot on the Fujifilm X-T5 on the Zeiss Jena Pencolor 50mm 1.8 lens. I did a video on this lens last week. Incredible lens, super fun to shoot with. I shot this wide open at 1.8 to get that very soft film look. And so that's why it looks maybe not quite as sharp or modern as some of the other photos we've looked at. But I wanted you to see what the Bujifilm presets would look like on your Fujifilm camera if you have one. So Acros I think would be great for a more film looking shot like this. I think that's a really cool classic look. I don't love Astia on this, and I don't love Chrome either. I think Chrome is okay. And of course you can go simple if you want to, but for me, for a very vintage looking photo like this, let's go crazy with the edit and put on Bujifilm Superior. I think the greens really pop in this, the yellow on his vest of course pop in this. And this is an overcast day, so we have some very even lighting all around, and this makes the whole edit look more dramatic, more, not gloomy, but maybe a little more moody. I think that's okay. If that's a little too strong for you, well, that's a good time to put on Superior Light as well. And that's going to be it. I hope that was helpful for you and showed you what all Bujifilm presets can do across a variety of different situations and a variety of different cameras. Let's wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed this little look at Bujifilm presets and what they can do for your photos. Are they right for you? Are they not right for you? It's okay if they're not. It's okay if you like the content that I make, but you don't love the presets or the colors that I do. That's fine. You don't have to buy them. I'm not forcing you to. But by watching this whole video is support enough for me. If you want to support me even more, obviously you can buy the Bujifilm preset pack. They're going for $20, but for a little while, and I don't know how long, but for a little while, I will have a code that I'm gonna put on the screen right here. It's gonna be right here. You put in that code, you will get $5 off of the Bujifilm preset pack for a grab for a grand whopping total of $15. You get 6 great presets that I have handcrafted for you for only $15. Again, that's for a limited time only. I don't know how long I'm gonna be doing that, so if that code works, you're lucky. Go for it. But that's gonna be it for this week. Again, thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. If you wanna support me even more, obviously buy the presets. But if you don't wanna do that, that's totally fine. You can just like the video, you can subscribe, you can leave a little comment. All that stuff tells the YouTube algorithm that what I'm making is good. And hey, if what I'm making is bad, I'm gonna keep doing it anyway because this is really fun. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. We are getting close to 1,000 subscribers. If this, I haven't already hit it by the time this video goes up. So thank you all for your support. I started this channel in January of this year. So less than 6 months, hitting 1,000 subscribers, that's pretty cool to me. And it's all thanks to you. So appreciate all of that. If you don't want to do any of that, that's also fine because I will see you in the algorithm in 6 months.